Welcome to Soul Sync, a sacred space for women of color navigating the in-between. I'm Pamela J. Thomas, and I created this podcast to hold space for your next chapter. Let's take a breath and begin. Welcome to Soul Sync, where we pause long enough to hear the truth beneath the noise. I'm Pam Thomas, and today's episode invites us into a conversation about navigating transitions in life and in all aspects of our lives. Today, I want to welcome my good friend Sunya Folayan, who is a Rest Technologist and a creative. But first, before we start, we're going to just take a moment and take a breath together. So let's ground ourselves, placing your feet on the floor. Give a little wiggle to your neck and head. Relax the shoulders. And we'll take a deep breath in. And exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. And exhale. And when you're ready, let's open our eyes and we can begin. Hi, Sonya. Welcome
you,
to
Pam.
the show.
It's really great to be here with you today.
I appreciate you taking the time to share what you're working on and your journey with the community. So I typically like to start with talking about your personal journey a little bit and how you've navigated transition. I think in this moment that we're in, it's really important for all of us to hear that we can get through, even though navigating transition is hard and there's challenges, we can get through it. And some of the strategies that I've had the opportunity to share, some of my guests have had the opportunity to share with the community, are just profound because nobody goes through these things the same way. So just kind of tell us a little bit about what called you to the work you're doing now, maybe what you did before and how you transitioned into the work you're doing now, and what types of things were important during that transition.
Well, I think when I look back on things, I sort of see how, it's a cliche statement, but it's like everything in my past has led me to where I am today. I'm originally from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas originally. I got married really young and ended up at a Marine Corps base for the first few years of my married life, which is all, I was very young at the time. I've gone through a couple of divorces. I've gone through some very acute financial ups and downs. But what I realized in looking back is when I would go through those periods of great upheaval and turmoil, somehow or another, I always turned to creativity for a sense of healing. And because I really went through some really profound changes and losses, but out of that, I really came out with some pretty amazing skills. I ended up learning how to play all of the instruments in the West African djembe percussion ensemble. I play all those instruments.
Yeah.
I joined a couple of dance companies, formed a chamber music group of my own, and came out.
Y'all, she's telling me telling stuff that I haven't even heard before.
Some really amazing skills that I was able to develop alongside my clinical social work skills. So for over 50 years, I've been involved in social work. Probably 30 of those was in private practice and corporate training. I worked with impaired airline pilots, surgeons, doctors, security engineers who had drug addiction problems. But the thing about corporate culture is they will invest in their executives because it's a lot cheaper to keep them rather than to start all over again. I've had the good fortune to be able to work fairly independently. So I really did not have a lot of 9-to-5 office kind of jobs. I was always out in the field. I could always sort of write my own schedule. Even as a student, when I was 18, in social work. I had a company car and expense account. They don't do that now,
Oh,
but
wow. No, that sounds like another era.
I think all of those experiences, and especially the losses, having gone through domestic violence, I ended up writing the curriculum for all of the Marine Corps bases in the world. There, a curriculum for Black families on every Marine Corps base in the world. But if I hadn't had that experience, that inside experience, I don't think I would have been able to have written that curriculum as effectively as I did. Um,
Yes.
and as a result of the last divorce, which was, you know, financially devastating, I really found my wings as a textile artist. I went to textile school, craft school, and so the projects that I did sort of to heal myself and to give to my families really became the foundation for my award-winning textile work. So
Yeah.
during one of those transition times as a single mom, I had thought about leaving the country with a colleague of mine and business partner. She was a psychologist. I was a clinical social worker. And we had planned to leave the country, flee the country with our children, and go to London and, figure it out. Well, we never made it to London, but we did go to Canada for a season. We took our children to Canada and we worked on our book, which we didn't publish. We did work on our book. We set our teenage children loose in Toronto during the day. They videotaped, made a school project. We took them out of school for almost a semester. So, I just look back on all of those experiences that really helped to keep my grief manageable, but also
Yeah.
allowed me to spread my wings in new ways that really have paid dividends today.
Yes.
COVID-19 was a game changer for the world. It certainly has been a game changer for Black women in terms of how it has affected our
Yes.
families really disproportionately because we were involved in so many frontline occupations. Um, and the stars sort of aligned for me in 2021. My youngest child was graduating from grad school. My oldest child, of course, was already an adult. My grandchildren were, you know, not babies anymore. And I also was no longer taking care of my mother because she had passed away. So it was just an optimum time for me to focus on myself and to take an extended break. And I think that was what made the difference for me. I took an extended break, longer than my normal time of getting
Yes.
away. It wasn't unusual for me to be able to take a month off because I worked independently. But for me to take 9 weeks off was just, I'd never done that before. And so I came,
Yeah. That's enough time to
yes,
reconsider just
seriously. And
about
I
everything.
think that is the point, to be able to have enough time away from our regular routine to unhook, to reset our nervous systems, and to allow the new thoughts to come in and, the new imagination to come in.
Yeah.
So I came to Mexico on an artist residency, and honestly, I have to say that experience it changed my whole life.
Yeah. 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 It's so interesting how life unfolds and somehow or another you end up I didn't realize you've been north of the border
Mm-hmm.
and south of the border, which is incredibly cool. I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
two very different experiences. Um, but you've ended up, but it's so interesting how life unfolds. So you've been north of the border, but south of the border, and now you're south of the border. And what's so interesting and exciting from my perspective is, by the way, y'all, she and her partners just had an article in Essence. So make sure you check it
Thank
out.
you.
We'll put it in the show notes so that you can find it. But they have built a community in the center of Mexico. So tell us a little bit more about what you're working on, what you're doing
Well,
now.
we are a part of a really dynamic community here in Chapala, Jalisco, Mexico. I I have to give credit to some of the sisters that have been here for over 30 years.
Yeah.
2021 was a 2020, 2021 was a watershed year. A lot of us Black women moved out of the country during that time. And I can think of probably 4, 5, 6 women who we all got here at the same time. We didn't know each other at the time, but we have met and connected with one another. But yeah, we're building an amazing community here of women, and some of the women have husbands. Some of the women have,
Yeah.
partners um in the United States. They just don't choose to live with them all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, we all came here about about that same time. But the other thing that we've had the amazing opportunity to do is we are building a co-living community. My business partner, Savvy Jones, and we just filled our building. So we have four units, co-living units. We each have our own private suites. We're in a refurbished boutique hotel here right in the center of Chapala Central. We probably have one of the best blocks in town.
Ooh.
We call it
Yeah.
I call it the Colored Girls block, because we have right across the street from us there are two women. Another woman is moving upstairs. One woman is a Black woman her roots are from Oklahoma, but she moved here from Arizona. Next door to her is our Chinese Jamaican friend. We had a woman that came to our retreat last year, and she decided she's going to move here too. So she's going to move in across the street. And we have this week, our final resident has moved into our house here. We call it the Casa Caoba, the mahogany house. So we're really, really excited. We have varied interests, but all of us in this building are creative in some way. And we're really looking forward to
Oh, yeah.
continuing to build community and, see how it grows. And, maybe we'll start another one.
Yeah. I mean, look, people in this moment, people are looking for new paths. And, whether by choice or not, a lot of people are transitioning from jobs they've had for a while. Not everything's been by choice, but there are people that are choosing to differently. And so, to hear from people like you that have done it and have done it well, and understanding all of the intricacies, but also there's always some challenges. Oh, and really a big part of it is overcoming the our limiting beliefs about what's possible for us, and stepping into something new. What are some of the myths and the things that you had to kind of let go of in order to make this big transition in your life that could help somebody else that's thinking about relocating in the way that you have, or
I think
similar to
probably
the
the
way you
biggest
have?
thing for me was and has been, just to be totally transparent, letting go of stuff. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I decided to purge sort of in stages. I did it in stages. I had already left my home. I lost my home in that last divorce. I just wasn't able to continue.
Yeah.
I just couldn't continue going the way I was. I couldn't, afford to pay it. I tried for a couple of years, but I was just underwater. So I moved to
Yeah.
an apartment, and then I taught in an HBCU, and I was able to live on campus, and that helped me a tremendous amount. But at the
Yeah,
same
no doubt.
time, I built a studio, which was almost, it was like almost probably close to 1,000 square feet. So I had a lot of space there. If I didn't want to be at home, I could go to the studio. I could hang out there, spend the night, work on a project or whatever. So I had plenty of personal space, but I also had lots of equipment and supplies.
Yeah.
So the next purge out of a smaller space was getting rid of that stuff in my studio. That was very, very difficult because I was attached to it, and I invested a lot of money in it. So I have been purging over the last several years. The final purge, I can't say the final purge because I still have a 10 by 10 storage unit.
And the truth is we have to continue the
Yes,
process of purging truth.
we
I
do.
wish it wasn't true. I wish I
We
was better
do.
at it too,
When
but
I
yeah.
was in Charlotte last year, because I moved here from Charlotte, I did
Mhm.
like the next to the last purge, and that was where I had to really come to terms with all the sentimental things that I had just not wanted to deal with. So dealing with all of those things,
Yeah.
things my father had given me, things of my mother's, going through diplomas and awards and all that stuff, the sentimental things. So I was finally able to get some things into a small box of things of my mother's, a small box of things from my father. But I'm telling you, I thought I was going to be able to get in there and get things done in like, you know, 3 or 4 days. I cried every day for 2 weeks as I threw away stuff and took pictures of stuff. It was very hard. It was hard. It was hard. But I
Yeah.
also,
Yeah. It's sort of amazing how we get attached to
yes.
things. I've been working on kind of reorienting myself to be interested in experiences and things, which means you have
Mhm.
to be more mobile, which means the stuff needs to be kept at a minimum. I'm not going to say I'm successful at it, but because it's an ongoing thing. But yeah, I mean the thing is that the things have deep meaning and yet they can hold you down a little bit. And so it's like navigating. You have to really be clear about what's important. And oh yeah, it's not a
It's not a
simple thing
simple
though.
thing.
That's
But
right.
the other thing, Pamela, is that I really had to face some things about myself because as I was throwing away those like
Mhm.
52 pair of shoes, seriously, and going
Yeah.
through, I was never real big into the whole designer bag thing, but I mean, I had a few now. But I really looked
Yeah.
at where a lot of my money went just in general, just in general.
Yes.
And a lot of that just had to do with, consumerism and just where my values had been over the years. I had begun, taking care of my mother was a wake up call for me too because I had to really stop and reprioritize. But just that whole purging
Yeah.
process where you're looking back over your life, over years, over decades, where, what was important to you at certain times. It was a real grounding moment, a real grounding time. And that's part of what
Yeah.
the tears were about too. Is like, you know, these are things that I considered important at one time, that are not so important to me now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really is part of the spiritual journey is the same thing. It's so funny how, yes, we live in a consumerist culture, and a lot of times we are either soothing ourselves or thinking that we're creating some sort of sense of importance by the things we have or don't have and
Mm-hmm.
all of that kind of thing. But the truth is, the spiritual journey is exactly the same, which is that in order to become the person that, the fullness of who you are, you have to let go of things that you thought you were that may have been important at a time, but, you know, it's no longer serving you and serving the world in the way that you're intended. And so you kind of have to go through these phases. It's that ebb and flow of clearing the decks and then making that space for something new and more powerful and more beautiful to
Well,
be enter your
I
life.
think Pam, that's the same with moving abroad. I think we had
Yes.
talked about this before. On occasion, I see people moving here with a whole truckload of stuff that it doesn't fit here.
Yeah.
It's out of context here. You're bringing
Yeah.
all this stuff from the old into a new space, and it doesn't leave much space for the new to open and develop. You know,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
and I think that's an important part of the process too, is being open to what what the new things will be that unfold. all the crying and grieving
Yeah.
and mourning that I did was an important process of letting go so that I could be open to what's unfolding now.
That's that's right. We do, and we don't allow ourselves culturally. Uh, we don't allow ourselves to grieve in powerful ways. A lot of the time, we want to do busyness instead of allowing ourselves
Yeah.
to feel the feelings. But when you move through that space, there's always a powerful, positive force that
Yes.
comes out of it, and it's comes out in many very unexpected, you couldn't plan
That's right.
in a million years ways. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tell us a little bit about your project with your partners, which is that you all have a little B&B that
We
people can
do.
come
And
visit you
thank
in.
you so much
Yes?
for mentioning that. Yes. Sojourners Vista del Lago is our B&B. It's in Chapala. Chapala is a municipality. It's also it's a county. It's also a city. So our B&B is in San Nicolas de Ibarra, Chapala, Jalisco. It's in the state of Jalisco. It is in the municipality, the county of Chapala. And we're open. Our goal is to provide a soft landing for those who want to check out this part of Mexico. Um, we are located right adjacent to Lake Chapala itself. You can look right outside our window and see the lake. Um, and because of where we're located, we're not in San Miguel, we're not in all these places that people think about, with all of this beautiful colonial architecture, which really is the colonial architecture is evidence of a community that was crushed and colonized, actually, because so we don't have the colonial architecture. This area was a holdout. They fought the indigenous people fought the Spaniards here. They're very proud of that history. There's a island just a few miles from us where they held the last standoff. They weren't having it. So we don't have this is not a town of
Well,
skyscrapers. It's a busy town of Chapala itself is a busy town of about 55,000 people. So it's a nice little size. Then Nicholas, where our B&B is about 6 miles east of Chapala. It's a town of about 6,000 people, much smaller. Um, the roosters are your alarm
yeah.
clock. You'll hear the clippity clop of horses pretty much at some point every day. Men gather on horseback frequently across the road from us, and they also gather at nighttime, to come into town and talk. They come on their horses. It's a charming,
Oh,
charming place. Our focus is on rest and restoration. We want people to slow down, have a great breakfast, good meal, maybe look outside, see the lake, see the cattle on occasion. But our goal is for people to slow down, take in the beauty of the community and the culture. And for those who really want to go other places, we're only, 5 or 6 miles from San Miguel, from Guanajuato. You can take an overnight bus ride and get to Mexico City. And we're only 25 minutes from the Guadalajara airport. We're 50 minutes from Guadalajara. So we're very well located, and we're open. We're open for that soft
beautiful.
landing experience.
So let me ask you this. Given that you're in the hospitality industry, what does hospitality mean to you, both professionally and
Oh,
personally?
it's about service. And for me, I always keep in mind, I want to treat our guests the way I want to be treated. So it's important for me to go
Yeah.
that extra mile. My personal philosophy is to under promise and over deliver. I just think it's important. It's a way for me to offer service, and to show love. It's very important to me that I am serving our guests.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Share at least one piece of wisdom that you would want women who are in the middle of transition um, to kind of know and help you make your way
I think
through? It's important.
I think it's
Like,
so important. We have to honor our intuition. We have to honor our intuition. Our
yes,
inner guide is going to is our inner guide is not going to betray us. Um, and if we have
that's right.
not paid her any attention, or if we have neglected her, it's never too late to develop that skill. So tune in to listen to what your body and your mind and your heart are telling you, and and to
Yes,
pay attention to how you get those messages. The other thing I would say
yes,
is, we have to live our own lives. We can poll our neighbors and our friends and our families. We can get their opinions, and I think it's valuable to get opinions. But
yes,
ultimately, we're responsible for our own lives, and we have to make the decisions that are best for us, even if it goes against what our family and our friends think. If we are tuned into our
yeah,
intuition, we're going to make the right decision every time.
that's right. And it doesn't mean
Right.
it's an easy decision, but it will
It
be the
doesn't mean
right
it's going to be
decision.
easy,
That's
and
right.
it doesn't mean it's always going to feel good. I mean, because sometimes we may have to go through some struggles, but if it's the right decision, it's the right
That's
decision, and it will eventually it'll be okay. Okay, eventually. Mm-hmm.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That we
Mm-hmm.
always have to step out on faith at times in our lives. Everything can't be clear and focused along the
And it's
way.
not, and it's
And so
and it's
that
not faith
looking as the
if we
guide.
think we already know what the outcome. I mean, that's the other thing.
That's right.
If we, how can I put that? If we're relying on that tangible thing that we can see, that I know that's not faith.
That's that's it. We're only promised daily bread, so we only
That's
need
right.
light for the next step.
That's
That's just
right.
the truth of the matter. We were only promised
That's
daily
right.
bread, not monthly or yearly.
That's right. It's so true.
Are there any spiritual practices or rituals that help to anchor you and regularly? Because really, the, the rituals and the practices should be things that we can do on a regular basis, but particularly during these times of transitions, there may be some things that are more powerful.
Yes, I wake up every morning, and I I either write down what I'm grateful for, or I listen to some, usually it's gospel music. Right now I'm listening to an old house gospel music track from BB Winans
Oh, wow.
called Thank You. I am playing that every single morning
Oh,
because it kind of hypes me up, and it's really about being thankful to God for what we have. And there's one line where he says, "I'm not asking you for anything. I just want you to know how thankful I'm thankful." Um, so that
yes.
I do that. I get out every day and walk along the lake. I walk quite a bit. I've been, I really have, and I do allow myself to take a nap if I need to. I have some nice new Afghans. I'm looking at my couch right now with love. Uh, I think those things, and on occasion, I do practice my flute just as just another way of saying thank you. And then on some mornings, I will make a little watercolor painting, again, just to express my creativity and my imagination, and do some, imaginative dream work. But at the center of everything, I'm just very thankful to Almighty God for allowing me to be where I am, and being able to tune in to the messages that I get for the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That gratitude, nothing takes the place of starting the day with gratitude in your heart. It can shift a
Absolutely.
lot of things
And
for sure. So as we start, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
have a lot to be grateful for. One of my
Yeah.
adult children in this last year had a very difficult mental health struggle. It was, you know, for me, it was just really touch and go for a while in 2025. But I'm just very thankful for the recovery and for the opportunity for healing and being able to, begin to redefine and recraft the relationship I have with my oldest daughter, and to be able to connect with my grandchildren in new ways. You know, my extended family, we've had some real challenges this year, but I am very thankful to see how those things are working out with my couple of my nephews. It's just it's been a year of some struggle, but I'm so grateful for the triumphs and the victories that we have seen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It There's nothing like navigating difficult things and then knowing, as you navigate difficult things, you build a sense of self and a sense of self-esteem that you can get
Yes,
through. You know that you can pivot, you know that you have the wherewithal to push through. All these things you learn about yourself. And unfortunately, as human beings, most of us really only learn when there's a challenge. Sometimes we learn without a challenge, but
yeah,
mostly we learn when there's a challenge. So, we can have gratitude even for the challenges in that context. Not that it's easy, not that I'm belittling the challenges, because goodness knows there's lots of them
right.
with most of us at the moment. Yeah, but
And you use the word pivot. I think that's so important. It's okay to pivot, and it doesn't
yeah,
matter how old you are.
yes,
Um, there's always
that's right.
there are always opportunities for new experiences, new growth, and it's okay to pivot. It's okay.
Yeah, not only is it okay to pivot, it's it's necessary to learn how to do it. And you get better at it as you do it
That's right.
over and over again. Yeah. What's one question that you're currently living into?
Oh,
This is our real talk moment, by the way. I always like to ask people one question so I can kind of catch the temperature of where they're at the
the
moment.
real question for me is, to what degree am I willing to entertain an intimate relationship?
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, look, that's not a small thing.
Because I'm really kind of liking things the way they are, and it is.
And that's okay
Yeah,
too. And that's okay
I'm kind of
too.
liking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm liking being with me. I've been with me for a long time. I kind of like it that way. I've pretty much determined that I don't think I ever want to live with anyone like that again. But
Yeah.
we can visit and
Yeah.
commune and all that. But I really I like my space. I like the autonomy that I have with my space. I I like being with me.
Yeah. I think that happens when you get a little older too. It's a little bit harder to imagine making all of the compromises that it probably would take to live with somebody else. Now, I granted, um, everybody has different
Mhm.
ways of being in relationship, and I've seen many, many forms of successful relationships. So I don't even judge, to tell you the truth. If you have a particular idea of what a successful relationship is, it probably makes it hard to find a comfortable thing. But there's all sorts of ways people create an
Yeah.
intimate relationship. So yeah, I mean, you can stay open and also make sure it really
Mhm.
aligns and feels right to you too. And then and one of the most powerful things is to be okay
Yep.
being with just you, because that's the most intimate
Absolutely.
relationship we'll ever
Yes.
have. And so when you get there, a lot of the other things kind of fall
That's
into place in the way
that's
that they
right.
ought, whatever that means.
I will say I probably would
Yeah.
still I might still be married is my because I actually put this proposal to both of my husbands and they wouldn't go for it. But I just said, I think, things would be better if we just lived apart. But I couldn't get them to go
Yeah,
along with
no,
that. So here we are.
Well, and it's so funny how people have a rigid idea of what
Yeah.
being in a relationship means. I mean, again, I'm not saying what's right for anyone because I think people
Mm-hmm.
do have what works for them. But yeah, no, I mean, I've seen a lot of things work. I have a lot of friends with a
Yeah.
lot of different types of relationships. And if you can make it work, I'm so happy for you to
Me
experience love in
too.
the way that you like, whatever that
Yeah,
is,
I
whatever
agree.
works for you, right? Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say? So just to close here, what would you say to a woman, particularly a woman of color, who's standing in the middle of what used to be
I
and what's
say
next? Couple or
I
maybe
say go
one or
ahead
two
and
pieces
jump.
of
Just,
advice.
jump. It's okay. Jump. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah,
some
yeah.
friends, kind of, develop be open to developing a support system, because I can honestly tell you that most of the women that I know here moved here not knowing a soul. And that so so you don't have to have your support system already, but just be open to creating it and be open to how it unfolds. But jump, life is too short.
Yes.
We're here for just a short amount of time. Enjoy the moments that we have. When we get to past a certain age, somebody said it's gravy. It's gravy at this point. So enjoy it. Enjoy the time that we have. This can be
Yeah.
an amazing, 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 amazing time. So let's go for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Now, before we go, where can people reach you? What's the best way to get in touch with you? And maybe get down to Mexico and see
Yes,
that
yes,
beautiful
yes.
D&D.
You can reach me at through our website, or emailing me at info at sojournersvistadelago.com. I guess I should put it or we can put it in the show notes maybe.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes. Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just letting you say it so that
And
people
also
will
you
remember
can
to look
also
for it
reach me
there.
through our artist residency, which is info at olmexlc.com. I have started an artist residency here for artists of the global majority. And also we have a women-centered program for caregivers, burned out academics, nonprofit managers. We're providing a soft landing and opportunities to rest.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Sonia, thank you so much. As always, our conversations are soul-filled, heart-filled, and I'm sure that your wisdom will impact many lives because of just who you are. I thank you so much
Thank
for
you. I
being
mean,
here.
I'm so proud of you for what you're doing. We're both growing, but I have to tell you just how grateful I am for your support, your mutual aid and friendship. I'm so proud of you, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what we're going to do together.
Yes, I know. We've been talking about it for a while, but I think we're both finally situated so that the conversation can turn into more than a conversation. And
Me
I'm looking
too.
forward to that too. So just give me 1 second to close out and we will be done with this episode. Thanks again. So I want to let you all know, if today's episode resonated with you, I want you to reflect on this question. What's one step that I can take today to be moving in a soul-aligned direction? And as always, subscribe, share this with someone you love and know, or someone that you know is standing at their own threshold. And join us next time for another soul-synced moment. See you soon. If this episode stirred something in your soul, if you felt seen, softened, or simply supported, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to leave a review. Your words help other women, especially those at a sacred threshold, find this space. It only takes a minute, but your review becomes part of the ripple. Thank you for listening. Thank you for syncing with your soul. What if retirement wasn't a finish line, but a sacred beginning? Women Don't Retire is a call to reimagine your next chapter with purpose, power, and joy. I share real stories, deep truths, and practical wisdom for women ready to lead, even after leaving the title behind. Available now where books are sold. See the show notes for a link to get your copy today. Before we close, take a moment with me. Just one breath. Inhale gently and exhale. Slowly let yourself arrive. I want to invite you into a moment of stillness, because what we explored today about rest, about intuition, and about honoring the quiet truths within us calls for more than just listening. It calls for remembering rest is not something we have to earn. It's not a reward for burnout or productivity. It's a sacred rhythm, a human right, and sometimes even a doorway. A doorway into healing, into remembering who we are beneath the noise, and to releasing what no longer serves us, and to trusting what wants to emerge. Intuition is the language of the soul. It doesn't shout, it doesn't beg. It speaks in whispers and nudges, in deep, quiet knowing. And when we create true space for rest, not just sleep, but that sacred pause, that's when intuition arises. So here's your soul sync invitation. What is your body trying to tell you now? What has your soul been whispering that you've been too busy to hear? Where are you being invited to pause? Not because you're failing, but because you're becoming. Maybe today, that looks like 5 minutes of silence before your next call, or putting your phone down and simply breathing while your tea steeps. Maybe it's saying no to one more obligation and yes to your own restoration. Maybe it's simply letting yourself rest without guilt and without explanation. Let this moment be your permission slip to trust and honor your rhythm, to trust and honor your knowing, to create space for rest and space for you. You are not behind. You're not too late. You're right on time for your unfolding. Until next time, continue to live soul first. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Until next time, stay soft, stay grounded, and stay in sync with your soul. Subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone at their own threshold.